you guys to come on. It'd be great to see you guys. So please turn your cameras on. It's a new year. I can't see anybody actually. But yeah, I can see a lot of you, recognize a lot of you as well. So a lot of you are regulars. So yeah, please turn your cameras on. Let's see each other this new year. Wish each other happy new year. Thank you, Pavani. Thank you, Jerry. Nice to see you.
Good to
Always
see you,
smile.
Raj.
Nice. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, please turn your cameras on. More of you, be nice to see you guys. Um, let's try and get as many as we can. And yeah, just create a nice atmosphere as well. Don't be shy. Oh, nice to see you, Louis. How are you doing?
Hi,
Nice.
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, are you here or in
We
Italy?
were we were not expecting to put the camera on, so we are on the sofa.
Oh, amazing.
But I'm
That's
here with my flatmate as well. Hi.
hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Wow. Thank you for joining. So you're back in London, you're not in Italy.
Yeah, I'm back in London.
Great. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for joining. Lisa, nice to see you. Vishal, nice to see you. Yeah, let's get more cameras on. So welcome to 2024. We are looking to try and see how we can have a better 2024 with a spiritual angle, a spiritual perspective. New Year, New Me was the title of today. So, welcome to all of you, and hopefully, you guys have had a good New Year, good Christmas. Yeah, and being kind of looking forward to 2023. Sorry, 2024. Oh, I get mixed up. So I'll just start with a quick meditation, and we just start with a quick meditation, a quick gratitude prayer. So it helps us kind of set in the zone and just become more aligned. So you can join me, you can close your eyes. I'll just say some mantras, and that way we can all enter the knowledge a bit deeper. Om Agyantimidandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militan Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Agyantimidandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militan Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Agyantimidandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militan Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So thank you all so much. And yeah, let's get underway with today's session, and yeah, see how we can have a much better 24. So as we look at 24, what I wanted to start with is just a quick reflection on 23, the previous year. We've just had a year, lots has gone on, and personally, probably lots of you had lots happening in your life. So maybe in the chat, we can just start with what's one thing you want to take away from 2023? When we look back at the year, what's the one thing that we want to take away from the year that's just gone? So you guys can write in the chat. I think the chat should be open. Is it? Okay, I'm just opening up the chat. So there you go. So now you can write in the chat. What's one thing that you want to take away from 2023? You can shout out as well if you like. Okay, thank you, Panita. Faith, things can get better. Any more? Just start putting it into the chat. Could be one word as well. Shreya, be more aware and mindful. Thank you. Health is wealth, Kavita. Thank you. Okay, great, great. So nice answers coming through. Happiness, amazing, amazing. Okay, great. So yeah, got good answers coming through. So a lot of you taking away some good things from 23. Let's have a few more. What do you want to take away from 2023? What sticks out to you? Gratitude. Okay. The clarity and beauty spiritual practices can bring to one's life. Amazing. I love that. That's so amazing. Kindness. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, some nice answers. So 2023, it's a great thing to look at what we want to take away. Next question is, what do you want to leave behind? So I've shared what you want to take with you, but what do you want to leave behind? So I share my slides so you can see the question. I think everyone can see that, okay? What do you want to leave behind in 2023? Worries, Vita, yeah. You often worry about so many different things. Any more? Negativity, clutter, anxiety, overthinking. Yeah, amazing. Great answers coming through. Yeah, just keep writing it on the chat. We'll just take a few more. Control, negative thoughts and overthinking. Overdoing. Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes we overdo. We do too much. People pleasing. Definitely, that's a good one. Toxic cultures and behaviors. Amazing. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes we don't realize depression, Garima, thing that didn't serve me. Amazing. Thank you, Greg. Idleness. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, some great answers. Judgment. Okay. Okay, so the last question before we get into it. And here we're getting into 2024. So what are your goals for 2024? Big question at this time of the year. What do you guys want to achieve in 2024? Bliss. We are self-reflection. That's nice, Vishal. It's the best time of year. This time of year is the best time to reflect. So, and a lot of people set New Year's resolutions. I didn't put resolutions in there because outdated word now. But yeah, what are your goals for 2024? Develop a more compassionate way of living. Thank you, Kavita. Sorry, thank you, Louis. Thank you, Kavita. Deepen your practice. Be more helpful. Thank you. Okay, so some nice answers. And maybe if you haven't written in the chat, you can just reflect. What are your goals for the coming year? And what can you achieve? Okay, so it's blissful consciousness, be more independent. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. So this session, I want to keep it very interactive. So if you have any question, anything that comes up, just share with me. And also you're welcome to shout out as well. So let's get into it. So we just did a gratitude prayer. Most of you want to take away some nice things in the new year, especially positive things, positive changes, and you want to leave behind anxiety, the negativity, and set up some goals for the new year. So new year, new me. So let's look at. So I'm putting this. I put this session in today mainly because it's a reflective time of year. There's a time of year where people can really utilize, the mindset of, we're moving into the new year. How do we set up the new year in a way that we can be more conscious, or we can achieve more, or we can do more, whatever that may be. So I really love that this time of year comes, because it's a great time to reflect and look into the future. And we can do that, and we can spend some time. And today we're going to do that. We're going to spend some time to kind of look a bit more inwards, look at the things that we want to achieve, and look at how we can achieve them, and also what the Bhagavad-gita says about goals and achieving things. So I'm going to get straight into it. A lot of the times we set goals, we have to-do lists. And a lot of you actually didn't put anything actually material to tangible to have, but a lot of the times we have bucket lists, to-do lists. I want to get married, I want to have a house, I want to have a car, I want to travel. And these are all great things. These are all like really important things that we also have to focus on. These are important things that we have to achieve. And these things can help us in our life, in our spiritual life, our spiritual growth. But what the Bhagavad-gita tells us and alludes to is, it's not just about having a to-do list. Yes, you need a to-do list, because yes, we are in this world and we need to act in this world. So that's important. But going beyond that, we also need to have a to-be list. Because when you make a to-be list, you're not just demonstrating, it's not just about demonstrating the thing that you're getting or the thing you're trying to achieve. Actually, it goes one step further. It's about how you're achieving that thing that you're achieving. So it could be, you want to achieve something in life, or a career goal, etc. It's on one level, yes, it's a to-do list, but actually the Bhagavad-gita talks about, we need to actually focus on how we can have a to-be list, how we can develop characteristics, how we can develop things internally, and therefore it sits side by side with the lists that we have to achieve. But actually, if we look at it one step further, when we make a to-be list, we actually have to make a to-do list to be that thing. What I'd like you to do, just a quick exercise with yourself, just take a minute. Think of a person that you really admire. Think of a person that you feel like is, you look up to, and just write down the things that you like about them. Write down the things that you admire about them. So maybe you can just spend a minute just to do that exercise. A minute or two, just write down, visualize a person and think about what you admire in that person. And maybe I'll get some people to share, unmute and share their answers. Just take a moment. What things do you admire about the person that you look up to? Okay, I've got Garima share that. Anybody else? You can write it on the chat or. Okay, amazing. Okay, Kavita. Okay, I'm gonna choose you, Kavita. Just unmute yourself and just share some of the qualities and why you picked that. And if you want, you can share the person as well.
Hare Krishna. So it's mostly my mum. The things she's been through, what she went through last year. So yeah, I take a lot of inspiration from her. She's very courageous, very kind, very positive, and the hurdles she has passed through and all the things she's been through. Yeah, it's very inspiring for me, motivational, and I'd like to, take on more qualities from her. And if, it's very cliche, but if I end up being half the way she is, I would feel my life is fulfilled. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kavita. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, your mom sounds amazing. It'd be great to meet her. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Would anybody else like to go? Would anyone else like to share?
Hare Krishna.
something? Yes, Garima, please go ahead. Share.
Yeah. I have a best friend at work,
Mhm.
so he's, like all those qualities that I listed, that's how he is. So I find that very inspiring, even though the guy, he's materialistic, but he has a lot of good qualities. So, that shows that even though somebody may be materialistic, but we can learn from them also, pick out the good qualities and try to also be like them, So, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Garima, for sharing. So yeah, interesting. And I love everybody's put their person on the chat and things that they admire about whoever that person is, and maybe you've written it down. The interesting thing with this exercise, when we get people to do it, is when you write down the things that you admire about someone, you're not actually writing down the things that they have achieved or the things that they have done. What everybody, pretty much 100% of you have written, are qualities, characteristics. So you can see grateful, humble, compassionate, always giving, genuine, love, authenticity. So when we look at the people we admire, when we think of the people we admire, the thing that sticks with us is their values, their characteristics, and how they are as a person. Never is it that we look at or we contemplate that they have achieved X, they have achieved Y, they have done this on their to-do list, or they have done this on their to-do list. We always reflect on their characteristics. One activity sometimes we do as well is we get people to imagine their funeral, and we get people to imagine what would your friend or a person talking to you about your life, what would they say about you? And more often than not, it's always a characteristic. It's always they were humble, they were kind, they were selfless, etc. So when we start by setting our goals, intentions for the year, the reason I started with this one is because just to kind of set the scene that actually one of the most important things before we even think about what we want to achieve in our life or what things we want to do, it's a lot of it boils down to how we achieve it and what characteristics we develop. So as a homework, as a task for everybody to take away today, write down 3 characteristics that you want to embody in your life and you want to have on your to-be list. So just write down 3 characteristics that you feel you want to embody this year in 2024. You can share them on the chat if you like. You can keep them to yourselves. It's totally up to you. But just write that down, and what you can do is through the week, through the year, is just reflect on that quality. I mean, if you write 3, you can write 5, but just reflect on them characteristics. Maybe you can do it in the morning when you wake up, or maybe when you are about to sleep, have that time of reflection. And I'm going to bring in a very interesting, some interesting verses from the Bhagavad-gita now. So let me just share my slides now. Second. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I'd just like to share what the Bhagavad-gita has to say about characteristics and qualities. So I've picked some verses out. Okay, maybe somebody, a volunteer, can just unmute themselves and read this paragraph, this passage. Anybody like to just unmute and read out?
Yeah, we can't actually see the passage.
Oh, you can't see it. Oh, okay.
No.
Wait. That's annoying. Give me one sec. Stop sharing. I'll try it one more time. Tell me if you can see it. Okay, now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, great.
Hare Krishna, since I'm here, shall I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
Thank you so much. Okay, somebody else like to read this one?
I'll read
Same
it.
one there.
Shall I read it?
Yeah,
He
go
by
ahead.
whom no one is put into difficulty, and he who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. My devotee, who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me.
Thank you. Okay, next one.
One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me.
Thank you. That's the last one. Yeah.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honour and dishonour, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me.
Thank you. I think this is the last one.
Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me.
Oh, say one more.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as a lotus leaf is untouched by water.
Okay, so thank you all for reading that. So in chapter 12, Krishna is basically highlighting the qualities of somebody who is qualities that we should strive for, qualities we should try and achieve. So some of these things, and a lot of people might have already mentioned this for some of the qualities that you might admire. So Krishna is basically highlighting that these are the qualities that we should try and strive for. These are the qualities that we should try and embody in our life, to be self-control, self-satisfied, etc. And we're trying to do things in this kind of mood and this kind of consciousness. And a lot of times we hear about being in a mode of goodness. When we're in that mode of goodness, then we can do the things in the right way, so that you could do the same thing either in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of passion, or in the mode of goodness. So whatever you do, if you're doing it consciously, you're doing it in the mode of goodness. But actually, Krishna is saying something beyond that. So don't just do it for even just for the mode of goodness, but actually do it for a spiritual cause. Transcend spirituality in your life, and when you do that, that's when you get the biggest results. So I mentioned 3 qualities that you want to embody this year. Write them down and try and reflect on these qualities every day, even if you do it for a month, even if you do it for a week, whatever you can do. If you can do it for the whole year, even better. Sometimes they say, write it on a wall, write it on a somewhere where you can see it all the time. And I'll share other things as well that you can put on your wall as well. So the next part of finding what are the things that we can set for 2024, and that's often to begin with the end in mind. I don't know if people have read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a very famous book. He actually quotes that he took a lot of inspiration from the Bhagavad-gita. And when we are setting goals, when we are setting our tasks, or whatever we want to achieve in the year, we always have to begin with, what is the final outcome? What is the final thing that we want to achieve? What are we actually striving for? And when we do that, everything else, every action that we take becomes aligned to that final destination, that final goal. So whatever it is that you want your final goal to be, your final destination to be, without setting that final step, you're going to find it very difficult along the way unless you're very clear of what that end goal is, what that end in mind is. I was having a chat with a friend, and he actually recently, it was a few days ago, and he was telling me that he was trying his spiritual practice, and he was finding that occasionally he would slip up, in his spiritual practice. And we were just discussing, and we were just reflecting. I was asking him, do you have like an end goal set up? Like, are you working towards something? And when he was reflecting, he was saying, actually, no, he hadn't fully clarified. He was still confused about, what his end goal was. And because of that confusion, I was kind of saying to him that because of that confusion, because of that slight, even if it's a slight uncertainty, your mind is allowed to kind of slip up. Your mind is allowed to you're allowing yourself to kind of think, okay, like, I'm not so clear on this, or it's fine, or, so you can become, your goals, what you're trying to achieve can become less effective, or you can, not achieve, and then what can happen is you can kick yourself about it because, I didn't carry out what I thought I wanted to carry out. But one of the main reasons is because we weren't clear of the destination in the first place. So therefore, it's really important that you take time out, whether it's once a week, or a few hours, even this week, or whatever it is, however you want to do it. Take that time out to sit with yourself and just focus on what goals is it that you want to achieve. I think there was a study, and I think only 3% of people actually sit down and set their goals. And the people that do are much, much more successful in achieving them and having a more successful and better life than people who don't actually take that time and sitting and planning. Now, when I recently heard that when the sages in the in ancient times, what they would do is they would fast every 2 weeks. And we still have that practice now. We fast, there's a practice where you fast every 2 weeks on the 11th day of the month. And there's a lot of health benefits for that as well. So you kind of detox, etc. But actually, it's a time to kind of detox, not just from like food, but also gadgets and whatever it is that's, you know, like that's distracting you, or the busyness of life. So what they would do is that in them 2 weeks, that one day every 2 weeks, they would plan out the next 2 weeks. So it's plan, what are they going to do in the next 2 weeks? How are they going to achieve things? What is important? In the same way, you know, we should try and plan out, you know, time, you know, in our month or whatever, to plan out, sometimes even planning out the day. The way the sages used to structure their days, it would be when you wake up in the morning from 2 a.m. I'm sure nobody wakes up at 2 a.m. on this call, but well done if you do. But from the time of 2 a.m. to 8 a.m., that's the time of the mode of goodness. So what you do is you do reflective activities in that time. So you focus on meditating, you focus on reflecting, journaling. There's a 5 a.m. club, journaling is a part of that. So basically, you use that time to set up your day. And what the sages would do is they would use that time not only for reflection, but planning as well. And that's the best time because things are quiet, things are less busy, and that's the mode of goodness. So you're focused on that, and the mode of goodness means planning ahead. Then from 8 o'clock till I don't know if I've got the exact time right, but 8 o'clock till like 4 o'clock, it's or 8 o'clock till like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. That would be the time of the mode of passion. And that is when you actually get things done. That's when you actually do the doing, you do the practice, and you know, you actually achieve the thing. So most you can probably understand, like, you know, everybody's going to work and the things are busy and you're more active and you have more energy. And then what happens in the evening? In the evening, it's the mode of ignorance, but you use that to your advantage. So that's when you stay calm, you relax, you chill out, you don't do anything. I wouldn't recommend like watching Netflix, but you know, I mean, like, you know, doing something a bit more chill, you know. So yeah, so that's how they would plan their day, and trying to begin with a goal is how to start. So how do we plan and achieve our goals? Okay, so we've agreed, we've discussed, okay, let's plan the goals. How do we actually do it? How do we plan our year? I remember personally, I would every so often I would use this kind of diagram, this kind of matrix, and it's called a wheel of life. And what you can do is actually write down each category, and this is an example. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but I said the main ones are like spirituality, your work and your career, health, friends and family, and relationships. So you know, there's money in there as well. So work and finance can sort of be connected together. Spirituality, personal growth connected together. Love and family, you know, environment, community, etc. Service. So make a list of the things that you want, that are important to you, and you can write little goals for each one. Right, write little goals for each one, or write your satisfaction. So there's two ways of doing it. One is the satisfaction. How much are you achieving the things you want to achieve in that area out of 10? But you can also write the different goals you have within that area. And you'll see, if you do a self-reflection, you'll see where are you right now in that space. And you can see, like, what am I lacking in? You know, what are the things that I need to get better at? What things do I need to focus on? What am I not satisfied with? Now it could be, now I always used to, when I do this exercise, I always put spirituality at the top. And I know that if I focus on my spirituality, that is, like, for me, the most important. And I know the rest of it will not take care of itself, but that gives me the best foundation to do everything else. So I would always prioritize my spirituality, and then I would look at all the other things more equally. But again, it's up to you how you feel, how you want to do this, and you reflect, and then you basically, once you have a clear plan, a clear goal, clear idea of where is it you want to be, how you want to achieve it, then for each section you can write down your goals for that, for the week, for the month, for the year. And then it's a really good practice to then reflect on it every day. When you're looking at it on a regular basis, it can help. But the first point is doing this exercise, and it could take you an hour, it could take you 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. But actually, it's a time well worth spent, and then constantly reflecting back onto this same chart. Okay, where am I right now in a month's time, 2 months' time, 6 months have gone? Where am I right now with my key areas? Am I struggling in one area? Do I need to give more time, more importance to another area? And equally, all of these are important. If you neglect one, then, because a lot of times what can happen is sometimes people neglect their working career and just focus on other stuff. And then what happens is that creeps up. Or they just focus on their work and career, but they don't focus on their relationships and their friends and family. And then they feel like they've missed out. So there's always risk of having imbalance. And I mentioned talking about how it's important to think about it daily. So I when we did the session on habits, I mentioned about having a daily habit tracker. So write down the things that equate to, so it's almost kind of all coming into sync now. So you have your to-be list, and for your to-be list, you need a to-do list to be them things. And then once you have your to-be list, categorize it into the different sections that I mentioned about spirituality and the things that you're gonna execute. So you can write it down on your habit tracker and tick off the things that you have done. It could be meditation. So then every day you meditate, reading, every day you meditate, you're ticking it off. Every going for a walk, going to the gym, whatever it is that you decide. And then what happens is when you have a habit tracker, if there's any time where you've missed certain amount of things that you want to tick, then you can easily identify that, okay, it's been 3 days and I haven't done this. It's been 4 days and I haven't done this. I need to spend more attention, more time, because you're reflecting on it every single day. And regular reviewing your activities, work on your goals on a daily basis. If you can do that on a daily basis, then you can achieve it better. And another thing that can help you as well is getting a friend to help you, or somebody that you're close to, or somebody looking to achieve the similar things. You kind of hold people account, they hold you account, you hold them account. And in that way, you kind of find out, okay, what is, how much progress you're making, etc. If you've got somebody to help you. So some people like that, some people don't. If you do have a friend that you can sort of buddy with, that's also helpful. And on the top of this, I've just put find your Dharma. Now, a lot of the times when we're doing activities, etc., one of the reasons why we slip, or one of the reasons why we don't actually achieve the things we want to, is we're not actually correctly situated in the thing that we're meant to be doing. So in the Gita, it talks about this. We have 2 dharmas in chapter 2. One is our spiritual dharma. So that's for everyone. We're eternal souls, and connecting to spirituality is for everyone. So that's one. The second one is your swadharma, which means your nature. Finding out what is my nature, what is my purpose, what are my skills, what are my talents, and how can I best use that in service of others. So it's important that you spend time doing that. And we've done a lot of workshops on finding purpose, finding your dharma, and I'm sure we'll do them going forward as well. But if you have any questions on that, you can let me know. But yeah, finding your dharma is an important point as well to help that. Okay, so here's a quick ABCD of spiritual life. I talked about, how important it is to have your spiritual activities aligned, and it can help with everything else. The first one is A for association. So when you're around the right people, when you have good company that are spiritualists, that are trying to achieve the same thing, even that people like that are even more advanced than you, then it can really help you. It can actually make all the difference. It actually makes all the difference in your life in achieving these things. I think I heard somewhere, even like when you're in an office of if you're surrounded by high achieving people, you automatically achieve 30% more. And the same is true. So I think what happens is if you're around people that are less productive, you achieve much less, even less than you would actually the other way. So actually, it's really important, really crucial who we spend time with. And the more opportunities we get to spend and associate with spiritual people and spiritual life, the spiritual practices, then we can move in that positive direction and have friendships. The other one is books. So reading is so important. When we understand spiritual knowledge, when we're connected to the literature, things like Bhagavad-gita or any other spiritual text, then it just reminds you constantly of what are the important things in life? What are the things that I need to achieve, and how can I achieve them? Books is like a constant reminder. Books and hearing, chanting, meditating is the C. What that does is helps internalize everything you're doing. And diet, you are what you eat. A lot of the times, we can feel really unproductive if we eat something really unhealthy. If our diet's not good, actually, it can slow us down. We can become sluggish, affects our mental capacity. Yeah, so trying to have a clean diet as much as possible. Obviously, I'm speaking out of speaking out of theory, but I also love food. So, I am a foodie. So it's hard to have a clean diet all the time. But what I try and do is Monday to Friday, try and have a simple diet, clean eating, basic food like rice, dal, chapati or vegetables, or try and have a clean diet. And then maybe once or twice a week, I might have some pizza or something, occasionally. But yeah, so just having a clean diet is important. And the other one is be engaged. Engage in service, engage in things around you, engage in giving back. And yeah, so then therefore, that's just a simple ABCD of spirituality. Now, I was talking about finding your talents, finding what is your unique contribution to the world. Now, I'm just going to play a video, and yeah, just let me know you can see this. It's a very nice video. I think I already have it set up here. So,
lately, when we have been able to help keep my mental health priority, there's better help. After graduating,
can you all see my screen or not? No. Okay.
No.
Okay, let me try again. Okay. Can you all see my screen now? Yeah. Okay. So hopefully you all know who this is. I'm just going to play this video. Just tell me you can hear the sound as well. Just Kavita, I can see you, so just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
well, they're the ones we're interested in. Class. Oh, God, they're really bad. When you say really bad, though, what was wrong with them, and what was different in the music you were doing then as opposed to?
I'm going to play you a song.
Okay.
So this is my thing. When people go, oh, you're so talented. You were born with natural talent. I'm like, no. Have a listen to this. Right. This is the.
Has this been played in public before?
No.
Okay. So
this is
it's an exclusive. Ed Sheeran when he was shit, basically.
Yeah, basically, what I'm saying is when people say artists are born with talent, you're not. You have to really learn and really practice. This is me playing guitar and singing. I'm going to put it into my mic like this.
Okay, so
It's right, right. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh. But you know what? Yeah. You know what? I did practice. After that, you practice. I did. Yeah, no, I do. I probably needed it.
someone of Justin Bieber's.
Okay. So yeah, actually, I met Ed Sheeran when I was at university. He came to my uni, and what actually happened was there was another singer. Actually, there was another popular singer. His name was Jay Sean, and he actually came. He was the main act, and I remember we were taking a photo with him. I was in some kind of committee, and we were taking a photo with this guy Jay Sean, and my friend was like, "Oh, that ginger guy, he looks really cool. I should get into our photo." And I was like, why is this ginger guy coming to our photo, you know? Like, why does he need to be in our photo? Anyways, and then they invited him in. So he came in, and then we had I didn't get time to get it ready, but there's a photo of the ginger guy, me, and then a few of my friends, and then Jay Sean in the middle. And a few years later, like, you know, Ed Sheeran blew up, and then we were like, oh, that's Ed Sheeran, you know? Um, but yeah, I found that really fascinating how Ed Sheeran is the most popular artist in the world right now. He is such a phenomenal singer. His concerts sell out. And he was just kind of demonstrating there how it's not about it's not about the talent, actually. Talent is something. Yes, we all have our individual talents. Can you guys see my screen now? No?
No. And also the video that you just played with Ed Sheeran didn't show the whole way through.
Oh, okay. Did you guys hear it? Was it okay? You got the...
Partially. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, it was just only partially.
Okay. Did everyone get what he said? Or should I play it again? Maybe I
No,
think...
not the whole video.
I think we get the message, yeah. I think you got the message, right? Did you get the message?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, let me play it again. I'll play a short part of it very quickly. There's also another video to play as well. So, okay. Okay, can you see that? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, all I'm saying is when people say artists are born with talent, you're not. You have to really learn and really practice. This is me playing guitar and singing. I'm going to put it into my mic like this. It's right. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Oh. But you know what? Yeah. You know what? I did practice. After that, you practice. I did. Yeah, no, I do. I probably needed it.
Someone of Justin Bieber's tracks.
Bieber's not. Bieber's.
Okay. Everyone saw that, okay?
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, it's just showing that actually the point is that even somebody like Ed Sheeran, who got to the top, it wasn't just based on his talents, it was based on his determination. And one of the stories I like actually is about Arjuna, he's a warrior on the chariot, and we're talking about the Bhagavad-gita. So when he was young, he was asked actually there's all the princes were asked to actually aim at an eye, the bird's eye, and all the princes, they gave different art. They said, they asked the princes, what can you see? And all the princes gave slightly different answers, like, I can see the trees. When you take aim, what can you see? I can see the trees, I can see the leaves, I can see the sky, I can see the lotus feet of my guru. All these things. They were giving different answers. But when they asked Arjuna to aim at the bird's eye, they asked him, what can you see? And he said, I see the bird's eye. And they asked, what else can you see? Because I can see the bird's eye and nothing else. What else can you see? I can just see the point of the bird's eye. So 3 times he replies and he says, all I can see is the bird's eye. So what he does is he really, that story demonstrates how focused he was, how determined he was. There's a follow-up story to that where his teacher tells him, don't tell Arjuna how to eat don't give him food in the dark. Don't ever give him food in the dark, right? And so make sure they didn't give him food in the dark. And one day, what happened was Arjuna somehow or another got some food when in the dark. So then he started eating and he started realizing, like, I can eat in the dark without actually seeing. I don't actually need to see. My hand is touching, my hand can sense where the food is and it can touch my mouth. And then since that day, Arjuna realized that I can actually practice in the dark. So Arjuna actually stopped sleeping. And when everybody was asleep, he would practice. He would go away, he would practice constantly in the dark. He would conquer sleep and he would just constantly practice. And sometimes we think that, okay, it's all about talent, but no, it's not about talent. It's about determination and it's about making the most of your potential. So whatever skills that you guys have, and I know there's so many talented people out there, and all of you have incredible talents. We had a poetry section recently, poetry night. We had Sarge and Rush do a performance recently, an acting performance, and with spoken word, and they were using their talents. There's so many talented people. Whatever your talent is, you have to understand that it's a determination that gets you to that final goal. It's not about your skill. And maybe we can get somebody to what stops us, what stops our determination, what stops us from getting our goal. Maybe somebody could just read this nice verse out from the Gita.
One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
So from this verse from chapter 6, we hear that with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. A lot of times we are our worst enemy. A lot of the times we're our own worst critic. We often put ourselves down, right? We often have that negative voice that, oh, you can't achieve this. Oh, you're not good for this. Oh, you're not going to get liked for this. Oh, it's impossible. Often we're our own worst critic. We are our own worst enemy, just like it's saying in the Bhagavad-gita here. Our mind is actually all over the place, and often whenever we want to achieve something, it's our mind that's actually stopping us from achieving it because it's degrading ourselves and being negative. I'm sharing another video with you now here, and hopefully this should play. And okay, can everyone see that okay? Yeah? You can hear it okay as well? No sound?
No sound.
Stop sharing. Let's try one more time. Obviously, my resolution for 2024 is get better with Zoom. Hopefully this should work. Oh, wait. Got it. Now it worked on it. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Okay, share sound. Plant. Okay. Sound okay?
The video's just stopped.
Nobody likes you. What notice what you're in? You're a mistake. You're useless. You're not even real. You look rotten. Are you really even alive? I like you the way you are. Seeing you blossom makes me happy. You're making a difference in the world. You are beautiful.
Still can't see the video.
I brought them here to see the plant. I was like, a plant is getting bullied. Like, it's not normal.
Seeing you blossom makes you look rotten. Are you really even alive? I like you the way you are.
See the
Seeing
video?
you blossom makes me happy. You're making a difference in the world.
We can't
No.
see it.
No, it's gone.
So sorry. I think
To see the plant.
I think
I
I'm
was like,
gonna
a plant is getting bullied. Like, it's not normal.
I'm not gonna play it now. I'll give it one more try. Had planned this to show you this, but okay, I'll give it one more try, and if it doesn't work, then so be it. Okay. You see it? Vita, just give me a thumbs up.
I think it's an excellent project. To have something tangible that they can actually physically be a part of is, I think, going to be very powerful.
As the weeks passed, I started noticing that the one that was being bullied started kind of to droop.
While the plant that was being complimented, it was flourishing and beautiful.
It's raised the profile massively of different forms of bullying and the effects that bullying can have on people.
If it affects a plant, it can definitely affect other people.
So basically that video was just sharing how when the plants were having negative comments, they would stop growing, and when it would have positive comments, the plants would flourish, right? And the interesting thing is that the same applies for us. Same applies for our success and what we want to achieve and how we grow, you know, and within our own minds as well. And what's really important is surrounding yourself with people that encourage you. So
Yes.
having people around you that have more faith than you have in yourself. I'll say that again.
Yeah.
Have people around you that have more faith than people around you. And that can make all the difference. And actually, we need to surround ourselves and put our trust in those people as well. So we need to have faith. Again, this is a paradox. We need to have faith in those people that have faith, more faith than we have in ourselves. So if you can find someone that is supportive, that is encouraging, that can help you, that is also spiritual or cares for you in that way and can encourage you to achieve the things that you can achieve, and you can do them things. Like, for example, Keshav Swami, like I would never be able to thought that I could do half the things that he encourages me to do or pushes me to do. And he was explaining to me actually the same was for him. Like somebody pushed him. So recently we had a Gita Jayanti program where he went through the Bhagavad-gita 18 chapters and he related it to all 18 different news stories, and he was just completely smashed it. Like it was amazing, such an amazing event. And he was saying in 2009 somebody asked him to do that event, and he was just like, no, I can't do it. But somebody had faith in him to do it. And since 2009 to now, he's been doing it every single year really, really well. But it's because somebody had faith in him. So we have to surround ourselves with people that have faith in us and encourage us And also we have to have faith in ourselves. Sometimes we're very scared, we're in our comfort zone, we don't want to push ourselves, but we surround ourselves with the right people and anything is possible. Now, one of the things that we often miss is the idea of self-discipline and consistency. When we are consistent, when we do the same thing every single day, that is what gets us the biggest impact, the biggest results. And even if it's small. So even if you decide, okay, I'm going to read for 10 minutes a day, or I'm going to read 10 pages a day or 20 pages a day, then you can make a staggering amount of progress. I remember there was this book called the Bhagavad-gita, and I made a commitment to read 20 pages a day. And I stuck to that commitment. And what was amazing is that I managed to actually finish it in 2-3 years. And people are like, how did you finish it? When I look back, the only thing I did was just commit to doing 20 pages a day. And often we don't realize that our self-discipline, our consistency over a period of time is the thing that's going to make the biggest difference. And often we feel like, oh, we're not making progress, we're not making difference, but actually success is such like it's a paradox, because the more you fail, the more harder it is, the more you try. That's just for you getting closer to that success. But what it is you can't see it. You can't see it, but maybe the results aren't showing. But actually, it's not about the results. And the Bhagavad-gita says it's about the process. You know, if you achieve something too quickly, you wouldn't value it. You wouldn't feel like that you've achieved it, and you wouldn't be humble enough. So therefore, it's important that we push that boundary through self-discipline and consistency. It was Thomas Edison who said he tried, I think, 3,000 or 300,000. I can't remember how many failed attempts of, it was 3,000 failed attempts of actually getting a light bulb. And he quotes that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. So we wouldn't have a light bulb if he wasn't so determined and he tried. So the last point I'm going to make in the Bhagavad-gita that I just want to introduce, maybe somebody could just read this out.
Hare Krishna. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're talking about goal setting, manifestations, and what we want to achieve, etc. Now, this is a little bit cryptic, but what the Bhagavad-gita is explaining here, and so I'm going to end on, is as a soul, right, we all have our own desires and endeavors, right? So as a soul, we have the free will to desire whatever we want to desire, okay? Now, what happens is that soul, or us as a soul, when we have that desire, the super soul, which is described in the Vedas and the Bhagavad-gita, it's almost described like two birds sitting in a tree, where one is enjoying the fruits and the other one is observing. So the super soul within the heart sanctions the desire of the soul, okay? And how does he sanction that desire? Well, firstly, he looks at the desire of that person. Okay, what is it that they're desiring? Then he looks at the karma of that person. So yes, they're desiring a big house, but do they have the karmic credit to have that big house? Like yes or no? Like the super soul looks at that arrangement. Do they have that karmic credit? And also what's factored into that is what is their spiritual level? What is their spiritual karma? What is their spiritual view? What is their spiritual desires? Based on these three factors, the super soul then sanctions material nature to make the arrangement for whatever it is to happen. So it could be that you desire a big house or a big mansion, But what happens is the super soul looks at your karma, and you can see that, okay, the super soul says, well, actually, you haven't achieved enough pious results to get whatever it is, a big house or you want to achieve. However, because it's your desire, you might achieve that, but you might have to pay a big price for it, or you might lose something else, or say if you wanted to, maybe you get it in your next life, but you come back as a dog in a mansion. So when we look at the desire, the super soul tries to sanction everything that you desire, but it depends on your karma. Now, what happens is, if you have spiritual desires and you have spiritual practice, then what happens is you get almost like a much more likelihood, or your because your desires have become spiritual and centered around that, then your karma, your bad karma gets burnt away and your spiritual karma comes into place. So if you can start using whatever it is you're doing first from a spiritual perspective, then the super soul can arrange that in whatever way. So maybe you're born into a spiritual family, or your life gets aligned in such a way where you can practice more spirituality. So I just wanted to mention that as a last point, and I'm not going to go more deeper into that, just to say that yes, we can set goals, yes, we can have desires, yes, it could be material desires, but actually the aim is to try, if you have spiritual desires, you get spiritual results and spiritual outcomes. It's not always that when you desire something, it can come true in the perfect way that you want it to come true. But if you spiritualize your desires, then God, Krishna, the Supreme, can help facilitate that. So yes, we have a destiny, but also at the same time, we have free will. So that's the brief thing I wanted to share about setting our goals and intentions. Do we have any questions or any comments, anything that people want to ask about based on what I shared? Anything that stood out for you? So what I'll do is, yes, we'll share the recording, and we'll share that as well with people. We have next week, we are launching a course on the Bhagavad-gita. Next week is the taster. So we're doing a 4-week course on the Bhagavad-gita, and I would like, my humble request is for everyone on the chat to join, but not just join, but share it with your friends, your family, your networks. The course is actually starting in 1st of February, but next week is the taster, and it's going to be Gita 101. So it's basically an overview of the Bhagavad-gita in 4 weeks. We ran the course last year. This year I'll be teaching it, and hopefully we'll be making it engaging, exciting, etc. We also are doing a retreat at the Bhaktivedanta Mana on the 17th of February. So that's going to be a big retreat. So you can bring your friends, your family, etc. to that retreat and to experience a spiritual day, etc. as well. So yeah, there's 2 questions on the chat. I'm just going to try and find them. How do you balance having and working towards an end goal with not being attached to the outcome? Thank you. I'll very briefly answer that because I know we're overrun. Balancing working towards your end goal but not being attached to the outcome. Yeah. So this is a famous aspect of the Bhagavad Gita, where in chapter 2, Krishna says, you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions, but you're entitled to but that you have to take joy in the action itself. So yes, we have to become detached, but the point is that you can't always become detached. Like, it doesn't always work. You have to become attached to something. So they explain that if you're attached to spirituality, if you're attached to God, then it's easier to become detached to the end goal. So because we're so attached to the end goal, what happens is we can get upset, we can get frustrated, etc. But that's the wrong thing to be attached to, because that's not in our hands. Like, you can sit an exam, but you don't know what result you're going to get at the end of the exam. You could try really hard, but you could fail, or you could pass, but that's not really in your hands. So being detached means stepping away from that, but then being attached to a higher purpose, a higher cause, being attached to the divine. That and in your internal spiritual practice, that and in your self journey, that is what you can become attached to. So it's about changing what you're attached to, not necessarily becoming detached, but changing what is it that you're attached to. Because naturally, we are going to have to be attached to something. How do you avoid having imbalance when with hostile people? It's difficult. People can be difficult, and we just have to learn tolerance and patience, and we have to approach it in a very loving, caring manner. And sometimes we just have to work around the situation we're in, but slowly moving towards a situation where you can have a better outcome. So anyways, I'll stop there. So hopefully you guys are all in the WhatsApp group, and I'll share with you the link for the course. So next week we're going to have the taster. Even when we also meet in Covent Garden, so we're going to have that as well at the end of the month on the 25th of January in Covent Garden. We have a great speaker. His name is the Lotus Coach, Nanda, and he's an amazing speaker. So we're going to have another event. We had a great poetry event just gone. Great talented people came through there. So this time we'll have a speaker where we can meet in person. So if you can, come to that as well, 25th of January. Next week, we're launching the course, and at the mid-February, we'll be doing a retreat, and Keshav Swami will be there as well. I'll be there. So hopefully we can all meet in person, and you can bring your friends and family. Thank you all so much. Really grateful for you to take your time and be here with me and be with each other. So thank you. And yeah, wish you a blissful day, and hopefully see you all next week.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Raj. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Yes, the recording will be posted.